7 inspiring psychological facts about how people act. Behavior is like a tapestry. It's made up of many threads that are thought processes, feelings, and social influences. Looking into the details of how we act gives us interesting clues about how the mind works. Here are 7 interesting psychology facts about how people act, accompanied by interesting examples. 1. It's called the Baader-Meinhof Phenomenon. Have you ever learned something new and then noticed it everywhere? This happens when the brain starts to notice patterns or details that it had missed before. It's called the Baader-Meinhof Effect or frequency illusion. For instance, after getting a new car, you may start to see a lot of cars of the same make and type on the road. The Baader-Meinhof Effect shows how amazing it is that the brain can sort and handle information based on how recently it was exposed to it. 2. Primacy and Recency Effects. People remember the first and last things on a list better than the ones in the middle. This is called the Primacy Effect. People do this because the things at the beginning and end of a list get more attention and are easier to remember. In a job interview, for example, the reviewer may remember the first and last candidates better than the ones in the middle, which could change how they feel about the whole process and the choice they make. 3. The Pygmalion Effect. The Pygmalion Effect, which is also called the self-fulfilling prophecy, is when people do better when they hope to do better. For example, when teachers think that certain kids can do well in school, they often do even better because they get more help and support. On the other hand, having low standards can hurt performance. The Pygmalion Effect shows how strong expectations can be in shaping behavior and results. 4. The effect of Dunning-Kruger. People who aren't very good at something tend to overestimate how good they are at it, while people who are good at it may underestimate how good they are. This is called the Dunning-Kruger Effect. This happens because people don't have metacognitive awareness, which means they can't correctly judge their own skills and knowledge. For instance, new drivers may think they are better at driving than they really are, while experienced drivers may think they aren't as good as they really are. Understanding the Dunning-Kruger effect makes it clear how important it is to be humble and think about ourselves in order to give ourselves a fair evaluation of our skills. 5. The spotlight effect. This is when we think that other people notice and judge our looks, behavior, or performance more than they really do. For example, people may feel self-conscious about a small flaw in their look because they think other people are more interested in it than they really are. The way this happens shows how naturally we want to be the center of attention, which can make us feel awkward and anxious in social settings. 6. The Zarnik Effect. This is the tendency to remember tasks that you haven't finished or aren't fully done better than tasks that you have. This shows that unfinished tasks cause cognitive tension, which makes people practice things more and remember them better. When you're interrupted while working on a job, you're more likely to remember to pick it up again later. Understanding the Zarnik effect can help you come up with ways to remember things and get things done. One more thing is the over-justification effect. This is when an outside reward takes away from your own motivation, which makes you enjoy an action less. If kids are given stickers for drawing, for instance, they might not want to draw just for the sake of it and instead focus on getting the stickers. This shows how complicated the relationship is between outside rewards and internal drive, stressing how important it is to encourage happiness and independence in activities. Finally, these 7 psychological facts show some of the interesting details behind how people act. Learning about the weird things that happen in our memories and perceptions, as well as the small things that affect our decisions and relationships, helps us learn more about ourselves and others. By understanding these psychological concepts, we can better understand and empathize with other people, which will help us make deeper connections and have more meaningful interactions in our lives. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. Let's meet again in new videos. Stay healthy.